listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Well, good morning, Sudbury. This is Sudbury News Talk. I'm AJ Walsh. Thanks for being with us this morning. It's just a great morning. The sun is shining. Wow. Who would have thought that, coming after the end of summer would be so beautiful? But you know what? We've had some really beautiful weather. We're going to get to some of that weather a little later on today. We're not going to start off with it as we usually do, but that's fine. That's just to get, Nick enough time to chime in on some of the things that we'll be talking about today, which will be all of the news headlines that we're sharing on our Sudbury News Facebook page. And so if that's where you're watching us, welcome. If you're listening to us on CKLU, welcome. And if you're watching on YouTube, welcome. YouTube.com/Sudbury News, Facebook.com/Sudbury News, and CKLU. So you can see us or hear us each and every weekday morning between 8:30 and 9:30. Make sure to download the Radio Player Canada app if you want to take us with you on your favorite device. Listen to us anytime. You could also just listen to us by streaming through cklu.ca. So having said all that, welcome. Thanks for being with us. We had a few technical difficulties to do with the internet last week. And so it looks like everything's back up and running, and we're grateful for that. We're grateful for you. Make sure to share the video. It's the way to get the community conversation in front of more people. That way we can have more of a community conversation. Thanks for all of you that have been with us from the beginning or have joined at any point in time since we've been starting this project, this initiative, whatever you want to call it. But thanks for being with us, and thanks, Nick, for being with us today, my co-host for the day. How are you doing today?
I am doing awesome. My place is a bit of disaster because I'm setting up for Valley East Days. That's happening this weekend. So I'm really excited. Valley East Days is always a really good event for my Scentsy business. And there's tons of things that are happening for all ages. Lots of things for kids, adults. There's going to be food. There's going to be tons of vendors. It looked like the weather was going to be bad, but it looks like there's going to be sunshine on Saturday. So I hope you all come and support Valley East Days. And come check out your Scentsy girl. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, you're going to have a booth there. And like you said, how many years have you been doing this for now?
8 years. It was my 8-year scent anniversary, August 14th. So I've never done anything for 8 years. I've always been like a little gypsy and always on to something new. But when something works, work it.
Yeah, that's a huge milestone, doing anything for any period of time, and you've been very successful at it. I think when somebody thinks of Scentsy, a lot of times you're the person that comes to mind in Sudbury, and you're very successful at it, and you're very good at it. And I've seen, my last office or whatever, they're like, I love the product and I want to get some. And I said, I know someone. He's like, you do? Anyways, and then so they're still waiting. They
yes,
just to let you know.
Get some Scentsy goodies, packages.
Yeah.
It's an office day today for me, and I'll be packaging some stuff. So if anybody's listening, if you send me a message and you want some free goodies, I'm all about free goodies. I'm like the free goodies girl, because you want to try the product before you buy. So it's also part of my marketing. Just give things for free. And I believe the more you give, the more you get. But let's get to Sudbury News.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
sorry, go on, Aaron.
I was just going to say, when I had a restaurant, I realized I spent so much money. So Lise is saying I was at one of your Scentsy parties, Nick, long ago. So there you go.
I love that.
Yeah. So I remember along the lines of giving away free product and whatever as a good way to just let everybody kind of know if it's good or not. I remember when I had my restaurant, I was like, I spent, I don't know, like $2,500 in advertising. And at the end of the day, I realized if I was to give away $2,500 of free product instead of doing the advertising, it would have probably, I know it would have been way more effective than doing that, because the word would have went around that there's some free stuff. They would have come in, tried it. And now as they tried it, they would have been like, wow, like this is something like I'm going to want to.
Because it creates an instant gratification. It creates joy. And it's kind of like Costco. People are like, ooh, there's going to be some free food. Instantly, there's a bit of happiness that's been created.
Yeah.
So if you had, free appetizers or free testers on whatever day and people just come for the free food, they end up buying more anyway.
Exactly. So is that why you like Costco so much?
I do like Costco for their snacks. I definitely go there when I'm hungry, or buy their even though I don't really like to eat hot dogs, but their dollar hot dogs are.
Yeah. If you want some cheap, almost street meat, it's not street meat because it's not on the street, but anyways, similar to that.
Yeah.
So anyways, like you said, go ahead.
Interesting conversation with my friend.
Okay.
She works for the government in Sudbury, for the city. Sorry, she works for the city. And I was telling her how ridiculous it is that we're spending all this money on this, $100 million library. And she's like, well, everybody knows. And I'm like, no, nobody knows about this. So she's like, well, no, but when you're in the bubble, of course, you know what's going on in the city. But if you don't work for the city, because I start talking about it now that I'm part of Sudbury News and I'm learning about local news. That's why it's so important, guys, to tune in every day to find out what's going on in our city, because we need to stand up. We need to speak out for the things that we want, because we're constantly preoccupied all the time that we're distracted. We're not really paying attention to what's going on in the city. Then something happens in our city and then we are reactive. So it's better for us to be proactive. So I love being part of this gang because it puts Sudbury News on my radar, and then I'm able to have these conversations with local people, with people like, hey, did you know that this is what's going on? Did you know this is going on? And many people had no clue that this project was happening.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, guys, keep sharing these videos and keep sharing the news and have this as a part of a conversation. I feel like lots of humans get together and all they do is talk about gossip. But let's talk about our city. Let's talk about things that are happening in our city. And I think this is one of the things.
Yeah, no, again, right? Like the more you know, the more informed you are, and you can make informed decisions, especially at the voting booth. And that's what's coming up. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to, to get the voices heard. We had Natalie Labby on for the last two shows, right? And so we were able to talk to her, and she's a force to be reckoned with. It's the only way I can, can explain her. She's definitely focused, and she's on a mission, and definitely wants to make a change in the city. And so it's going to be a really interesting election, a lot of issues going on. And like you said, the more you know, the more you can get involved and be the change instead of just complaining about things. So anyways, so what was this about the city and to know about the library?
I was just talking about how ridiculous it is. And she said, well, the city told the community. I'm like, but where? Where is the city telling the community that this project is happening? I don't know. Like, was this told a long time before, or was it just shared once they all voted on it? Or so I came onto the show a little bit later, so I only found out once they approved it. But it was just an interesting perspective that when people are working within the city, they think that the city knows what's going on. But the truth is, nobody really knows what's going on.
No.
So I really want to elect someone that is going to be spreading the word and supporting people that are spreading the word. And I feel like sometimes let's be aware so that we can be the change. And that could sound like a lot of pressure for us humans. But really, guys, all we got to do is talk about it. When you're hanging out with your neighbor, when you're talking to your mom, when you're talking to your brother, just be like, did you know that the city is introducing this? This is interesting. So the more that we are aware, the more that someone could then possibly vote against something or vote for something.
Yeah, I think it flew under the radar like a lot of things do, because they talk about a lot of things. They have a lot of different plans over time. But yeah, so we have a comment here that the city is not really open.
This is not the first time I'm hearing that they're not supporting locals.
Yeah.
Even for construction, architecture firms, it's all firms from Toronto. I'm constantly hearing this, and that needs to be changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Supporting. I'm pretty sure our downtown wants us to support downtown, and that's this big city initiative is supporting downtown, support local. But then you are being a hypocrite, and you're not even supporting your own local businesses. Maybe I should run.
Yeah, you should run. Brent is saying his comment was deleted for some reason. I don't know why. I put it up on the screen though, so all of the people watching on the live feed would have seen the comment. So, and
yeah, we appreciate all the comments.
Jesse's commenting quite a bit here, so I'm just trying to keep up on what he's saying. But yeah, so that's interesting. So yeah, speaking of the city, let's just dive right into what we're looking at here today on the feed, what we've been sharing. And I have to share my screen first of all in order to do that. So let's do that. And then we can talk about it. So I'll get it up. But did you have a chance to look at that first story at all? I thought I put that for you.
Oh. This is private property?
CBC. Yeah. Did you see the
Going medieval, new villages in northern Ontario bush are dreamy for some, a nightmare for others.
Yeah, so you have different communities in the bush. So medieval villages. Medieval. New villages in northern Ontario bush are dreamy for some, a nightmare for others.
Well, yeah. You know, I can see a shift that people are more interested in working within a community, being in a simpler lifestyle, living in the bush, being part of nature. To me, sounds incredible.
Yeah. New off-grid, low-cost villages are growing in the Northern Ontario wilderness. Ontario government says it's monitoring new communities being built in the Temiskaming wilderness.
I wonder if Temiskaming is a
unorganized
township.
No, I think it would be organized within the township limits, but outside of that, it's probably unorganized. But yeah, there's probably unorganized areas just outside the township itself. A private property sign is taped to a strap strung across the entrance to the Swan Lake Boreal Village north of Kirkland Lake. After carrying an armload of construction materials up a rough path cut through the underbrush, Charles Sule scrambles up a stepladder onto a half-finished house at the top of the hill. So it's basically them just interviewing somebody who's building one of these communities, and here's a picture here. Looks like a friend of ours. And property close by, and so they're doing similar things, right? They're just going out there and building communities, and and that's
funny.
Opposite to the way we are in the city, right? Like there's so much red tape when you want to do something. I think people are just exhausted from that kind of thing, and they just want to get out and just do something, just build. Like I want to learn how to build a house. Well, you can't do that in city limits. You can't just build a house.
Someone had told me a ridiculous amount just to get your permit to start building your home is this ridiculous price. I want to say it's thousands and thousands. I kind of want to say it's like 50,000, but I'm not really sure. I would love for someone to let me know how much it would be. But how is anyone supposed to build? How is anyone supposed to survive in this environment or in this city when it feels like they're literally taking advantage of us in every single situation? So I understand why these people want to live a simpler life because some people I know don't have city water, don't have any services, have no children, and they're paying insane amount of taxes. And it's like, why? It's just, it doesn't seem like a fair environment. And if these people aren't hurting anyone, just let them be. But I just saw unorganized East Temiskaming district is an unorganized area. So there's a lot of areas in the Temiskaming area that's unorganized, which has a lot of great opportunities.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Now, if you think of how this country was established back in the day, what did they do?
They
Came
just started
over,
building.
started building, and everyone got a little plot of land, or you just found a plot of land, you plunked down, you built your homestead, you had some animals, whatever, and you went to town. And so we've come a long way since then, but have we? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what are the issues with somebody just going out in the bush and making their own structure? It's a new thing because it's an alternative to what's going on. And as housing prices go through the roof and inflation goes through the roof and all these things, you're going to see a lot of this going on.
People are getting sick and tired of all these rules and these red tapes. And when you're too strict in any type of environment, people are going to start rebelling. And I feel like our city just has way too much ego and wants way too much control. And I saw a comment here. It says that someone was happy that Ribfest was taken over by a local because now it's run properly. And of course, because this local individual has passion. They love our city. They know more local people. People want to support local people. But there was a slogan a long time ago about downtown Sudbury about supporting local. And it's, hey, Sudbury, you're not even supporting local.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's a problem that's not going to, go away. I think it's going to get more and more and more prevalent as and we're not the only city that does that, by the way. I mean, there's all regulations in organized areas. Like you looked at Temiskaming and you saw that was an unorganized area where this particular, community was going in, or this structure. But, in organized areas, it's pretty similar. Like, they don't just let you build whatever you want to build.
No, exactly. Well, for sure. And I'm for guidelines. I don't want, a place looking like a complete dumpster.
Yeah.
I understand that, but make it feasible, and don't make it just the rich people and the people who are friends with so-and-so or so-and-so to be able to have access to building or to growing or whatnot. But there's Brad Davidson commented on our video saying there's more proof about Sudbury being opposed to locals. There's a guy who was supposed to open a water park on Vermilion, jumped through the hoops with the city, did exactly what he was supposed to do, paid copious amount of insurance. A week before they opened, city pulled the plug and brought in a Southern Ontario company on Ramsey.
Yep. Yeah, that was the water park. It was out in Chelmsford or Vermilion first. Yeah. And then that was, they brought in Southern Ontario company. Yeah. So we're not sure. I remember the Chelmsford water park, it was supposed to be built, and for the longest time there was just a slide sitting in the middle of a field. And
of course, this person didn't just start building slides. Of course, they thought this was going to be an okay thing to do. Like, why not bring more entertainment to Sudbury? Why not do something cool in Sudbury? But it seems like if it's not the city's idea, they're just not for it. I don't know if someone's getting money from where, because I was in the business to business environment. And there's just a lot of, well, Anik, you can do this, but I need this. And if you want to do this, Anik, I need this hookup, or it's constant and that changed my whole perspective of this whole city. And I was like, wow, is this like this everywhere? Probably.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that, a lot of people recognize. And that's the thing. You said something about a bubble and the city being a bubble. I think there is some, something to that with those making the decisions. I think they think not everybody realizes these things. And when I was talking to Natalie yesterday, I brought up the things. I brought up 4 things. I brought up the new arena that we couldn't build in the casino, then the $100 million library arts center downtown. I brought up the fact that Laurentian University went bankrupt, and now the hospital too. There should be people looking into the financial aspects of the hospital.
Are you serious? Is that what's going on right now?
Well, no. I think the people should just be looking into it because of what happened with Laurentian University first. Then
that's a great idea.
We have our former hospital, the General Hospital, just sitting there with a bunch of colored paint all over it. It's pretty much an eyesore. It's got broken windows and whatever, and it's in one of the most prime real estate areas in the city, very visible. So I brought up those 4 things alone, and there's more. There's more than that. But I don't know. The city just seems to not understand that this is all in plain sight. It couldn't get any more plain than that. And so we're way off the mark in terms of just running a city, just normal things that you need to run a city. And look at our roads. You didn't even mention our roads, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like, that's a normal city thing. Make sure you have roads that you're not going to damage your car when you drive in the city.
It's
so
when we think about everything that's going wrong, our city is kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
And that's why I need to not think about all the things that are happening, all the wrong things, because I want to love the city. And what makes me love this city is the nature that's surrounding our city and the people.
Exactly.
We have incredible people. We have beautiful nature. We have beautiful trails. And it just, this city is, we're losing lots of trust. I think we've lost trust in a really long time. And I even heard that when they built this supposedly bigger, better hospital, there's actually less room in this new hospital than there was at the General.
Yep. Yeah. So it's interesting. And so the next story that's up here is about RibFest moving to to Bell Park rather than to have it downtown. So after you're gone, because you're only with us for the half hour today, there's a video on that where CTV did a story. So we're going to be looking more into that, to some of the reasons why Sudbury Downtown decided not to have it downtown and to move it to Bell Park.
Oh, I will definitely look into that, because I'm curious to know what Sudbury Downtown's opinion is on why not having a festival downtown and why moving it from downtown to another area. Probably because there's better parking. Has way more space. I'm not sure, but I heard it was a really great event.
It was. I went to see one of the acts after a friend of mine's band, which was really good, at Nickel City. And then after that, we went to RibFest and watched the AC/DC tribute band.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyways, it was fun. And but Jesse, who comments quite a bit, is if you're paying attention to the comment section here, Jesse commented on the Facebook page about the BIA, the Business Association downtown. He says they are out of touch, and basically, he has some particular views about the BIA, as a lot of people do. So it's political, right? There's some political aspects about it.
What I love, Aaron, is that in the end, the right thing will happen. I feel like love will win. And it's just interesting to me that I am pro KED. And I feel like we need to move the whole downtown area somewhere else. And now there's this amazing festival that was happening every year downtown. And now it's not happening downtown. So if this constantly happens, then I feel like people are going to be more pro opening up and building a new territory, a new entertainment center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping that something will just kind of it's almost like something's bottlenecked, something's just kind of not right. And just if something changes and then everything kind of falls into place in the right way for all of these things to move forward.
And hey, did you know that we can also have a successful downtown and other successful areas in our city?
Yeah.
Did
It's true.
anyone think about that? Does it mean just because we're going to be building an entertainment center that no one's going to be going downtown at like the amazing restaurants? Like Respect is Burning is my favorite restaurant downtown. There's no way I'll stop going to Respect is Burning because I am pro KED.
Yeah, it's true. And in downtown, again, there's a lot of issues going on down there. And I think they're socioeconomic reasons and the idea that Sudbury is kind of like this hub of the north. A lot of people, you know, come to Sudbury.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people maybe with addiction issues or whatever, because the resources are here and there's a lot more here, they'll come here and really they could come downtown and it doesn't make certain people feel comfortable being down there. And so there's a lot of issues going on here. It's not just one issue. And again, it's not where
It's
Ribfest is.
multi-layered.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so many empty buildings. Do something with them, but they're actually unsafe. They can't even do anything with these buildings because they're unsafe. So they're just sitting there. It's just, and that's prime. I don't think so, Jesse. That's your opinion. Jesse says the KED was a scam, though. I don't know where you're getting your information. I don't know. Building new entertainment center in a new area would be a scam at all. It would be creating jobs. You know how much construction would be happening, retail. We would be bringing entertainment. So I am interested in hearing your perspective on the scam that KED is. Downtown could be nice. Just need a little work done. I think we need a lot of work, Lise. We need a lot of work because we need to move some services out of downtown. It can't be downtown. So like the methadone lab can't be downtown. It needs to be in another area. Even maybe the bus station needs to be moved.
We're not the only city that struggles with this. So it's something that's been done in other cities, and we could look at models and things that other cities have done to address a lot of these same issues. And yes, one of those issues are having the arena, the main attraction of the city, being in the downtown core, is one of those things. And so I don't think that discussion is completely over yet myself. You know, most of us though just want to see something go ahead. Like it was just painful to just see that process play out, and then at the end of the day nothing is even done and lots of money is spent. That's just painful. So yeah, so hopefully new council, new mayor, you know, move things forward. Things that looked like they were impossible or there was no hope in store for it can actually go through, and you know, the right thing could be done, because this is a beautiful city. It's so many lakes, so much nature. We have thriving industry. They just talked about Tesla possibly opening up a plant in Sudbury. So that would be more economic development. And so there's a lot of good things if you have the right people making the right decisions. And so that is key. Not all of us can make decisions together. You need to have, you know, people that are making those decisions in those positions representing us properly. And at the end of the day, I want to drive on smooth roads. I mean, is that too much to ask? I think
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Our city is embarrassing. All these potholes, and we have like 6 or 7 of the worst streets in all of Ontario on the top 20. It's kind of embarrassing. But I also agree that we're not all going to agree, and that's okay. And that one project might be okay for, you know, Lee's, and one project might be okay for you, and I might be against that one project, and that's okay too. We are a community. We're not all going to agree, and that's okay. And some things are going to be good for us, and some things are going to be good for everyone else. But I know a lot of people don't like change. I love change because change is inevitable. We're always changing, even though if you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix all the time, the world is constantly changing. So we need to keep moving, and we need to keep changing. And I'm pro just moving, because the city has not been moving.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And just before you head out there, I know we're going to be talking. I know Miles wanted to talk about the article about the farmers market, that we don't have a structure for a permanent farmers market, which we do need as well. That is a huge, huge issue as well. Just a place to gather, a place that everyone can come down and grab some food from locally
Again,
produced people,
I thought the downtown city, like downtown, wouldn't that be a great place? There's so
Yeah,
many areas that we
yeah,
can do this. Like, why wouldn't they take advantage of this? Like,
yeah.
who's the person in charge of downtown Sudbury? Like, are you not a business person? Like, it's really easy to just get people together and just use the side streets or a
And that's,
parking. Like on every Sunday, there's this market in the arena parking lot for a while until you build your $100 million library.
yeah. And that's what
There
Jesse was
won't be
referring to.
space.
The BIA is supposed to be basically an organization that looks after downtown.
Huh. Well, they're
And,
failing. Maybe we should have a conversation with them.
well, the former director, the former person in charge of that is running for council this year.
Okay,
And
so I will not vote for that person.
well, they've agreed to come on the show. So
Okay.
they're going to be coming on soon, and I'll be getting back to all of those that are running for mayor and candidates for council. We're going to have them, on the show more than likely starting next week, because we want to make sure all the bugs were out first. But
Perfect.
before you leave, Apple Fest is coming to Sudbury.
That's cool. That's cool. We're
Anyways,
just gonna eat a bunch of apples, and there's
Yeah,
just gonna be a bunch of apple treats. Like, cool, something different.
Apple Fest is coming this weekend to Sudbury. So another festival, and that just keeps hitting home the idea that I have for Fest, Sudbury Festival Fest. So we have all the festivals at one festival, and they all have booths. So you got the Apple Festival booth there, and then you have the Garlic Festival booth. You have the Northern Lights Festival Boreal booth. They all have booths. So you can sample all the festivals at a festival.
Valley East Days has a lot of space, so everyone could just come to the Valley.
Yeah, well, there we can make Valley
this
East Days
weekend.
Fest.
Yeah, I like it.
There you go. Well, thanks, Nick. I know you got to run. You're a very busy person.
It's second day of school, guys, and yesterday we weren't aware that my daughter was starting school. We thought it was today, and it was a bit hectic, so we are redoing our first day. So that's what we're doing.
Always good to have a little redo. So
Yeah, it's okay. If you screw up, just get back up and do it again.
just do it
That's
again.
the beauty of life. Thanks for having me. I can't wait
Thank
to be
you,
back
Nick.
on the show. Have a great
Well,
day, guys.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye. Ciao. That was Nick Gervais. She's with us, on a regular basis. A lot of whenever she can. She actually wants to be on every day when she can. So I'd like to thank her for being on. And we're going to get to some more of your comments, and we're going to continue the show and continue the headlines, get to one of the things that Miles was talking about right after a little bit of weather, because we didn't have a chance to do that. And if you can just see outside, you know that it's beautiful weather today. 8 degrees. The humidity, though, 99%. That's very humid. Well, there's a lot of fog where I'm at, low fog. And sunny today. Fog patches dissipating this morning. High will be 24. The humidex 27. The UV index will be 7 or high. But tonight, clear. Fog patches developing overnight. Tuesday's sunny. Fog patches dissipating in the morning. Wind becoming southwest, 20 kilometers late in the afternoon. The high will be 25 Thursday. But looking at the long range here, so you have beautiful sunny skies, 25, 27, 26. Oh, we're getting it looks like we're getting a sunny Saturday now. Yesterday it didn't look so hot or so nice, but now it is. So here you have the rains coming in on Sunday rather than Saturday, which I appreciate. You got a nice Friday, Saturday to enjoy, and then the flowers need their water as well. And the vegetation needs to grow. So there you go. So we're going to have anticipating a rainy Sunday, and this is what it looks like over the skies of northern Ontario with our satellite view. But we'll be right back with some more of the headlines and more of your comments right after this. Oh, and there you go. I just didn't let the didn't let the video complete. But there you go. So yeah, that's your weather. Glad to be with you. Thanks, Nick, for being with us. I know she shares the heck out of the broadcast each and every time she's on, and there's a lot of viewers from all over the world. And she is also going to be at Valley East Days with her Sensi booth, so you'll be able to check that out later this weekend. Apparently, there's going to be some really good acts there. I think there's going to be a Supertramp cover band, Guns N' Roses cover band, or tribute band, I should say. And then also Glass Tiger will be performing. So check it out. Go online. Check out all what's happening there. Maybe we can get to some of your comments here. So Leanna saying we need a new mayor. So yeah, I believe a lot of people feel the same way that you do. And we'll be talking to many of the people running, and possibly even the current mayor himself, if he wants to come on the show next week or going forward. Yeah, clean up downtown for sure before you do anything else with it. Yep, good comments here for sure. And, you think the old mayor will be voted back in? Yep, that's true. So what happened last time, there's too many candidates, Miles is saying. There was too many candidates last time. And I think the same thing could be happening this time. However, there is a little bit different, something different going on this time, and that's Mark Lefebvre is running. And he has the name recognition that no other candidates had before running against our current mayor in the last election. And so I believe that that's going to be something to watch. So because of the name recognition, because of the network already, he was already voted as an MP for the Liberal Party, I believe for two terms. Then, I think he has the best chance. And I do believe he's the front runner as far as I'm concerned. And regardless of how many people are running, it might even be better for him that a lot of people are running, that, it's better for Brian Bigger and it's better for Mark Lefebvre more than anyone else. The fact that there's, 10 candidates or whatever running for mayor. So yeah, so some more headlines. This one's interesting, right? Fur trappers begin public relations program. The campaign is aimed at counteracting misinformation about trapping. This seems to be a bit of a theme with today's show. People building out of city limits and just building on their own. The idea of trapping, that it's not the end of the world. It's not evil, that people still make livings off of it. And it is environmentally friendly. If you look at back in the day when we came to populate this area, that's what it was mainly. That was the industry, was fur. It was the fur industry. That's what the main industry was that built where we live back in the day. And so it still continues today. I encourage you to go and read that article. So here's the letter. Time for a new dedicated farmers market building. And I agree with that. And we did have a farmers market building. Do you remember? It was where the MacEwan School of Architecture now is, right? And they took that structure and they brought it into the new building for the MacEwan School of Architecture on the corner of Elm and Elgin. And that's where Q92's studios now are, in the MacEwan School of Architecture building. So we did have it at one time. It was just then repurposed and taken away. But yeah, we need to have a farmer's market, a permanent structure back in the city of Sudbury. It's a gathering place. It's a place where people that do business and they grow their own things and they make their own things, that they have a place to go and to sell. And we have a place to go and buy. We talk a lot about local. It's really interesting that we don't have a permanent farmer's market. So that is a huge issue. I'm going to add that to my bucket list of so many, not my bucket list, but my list of things that are important for the city when I'm interviewing candidates. So Eric says, so why? So we can change it into some sort of arts building. Yeah, so there, his comment right there. I never even read that comment. And that's the sentiment of a lot of people. Like, we had it and then we just used it for something else other than a farmer's market. So very negative, views of Sudbury out there. I'm finding a lot of people, why do we do things the way that we do? And hopefully we can change these things, turn them around, make them more positive. And speaking of that, Sudbury planning to set up a youth wellness hub in 2023, creating a place for people age 12 to 25 and get support for such things as mental health, substance abuse, primary care, education, employment training, and housing. So that's coming to us very soon, 2023. And yes, that's a positive thing. I believe I remember having a youth hangout place in the Valley when I was young. And I still have friends to this day that I met there. And not only did we go there, there was a pool table, there were activities that were around, youth. We went kayaking or canoeing, went on a canoe trip. So there were activities that were done for this youth center that we had in the Valley. Such a great thing. And it's so important for youth. And just, talking about mental health, just getting together with your peers and doing positive activities and things when we're stuck in our houses, usually just in front of our TVs or our devices and things like that. We don't really get a chance to be social. Just that in of itself takes care of mental health and helps our well-being, right? So if you just create a space, a place, and then, things to do within the place and the space, then you're off to the races. Yep, exactly. So Jesse's saying we also need a dedicated, like a flea market idea, right? And that's what I was thinking. You have a farmer's market, but you also have arts and crafts and things that you can sell there. And then Miles says, we allow, my eyes are getting really bad, by the way, guys. I really apologize. We allowed a former corrupt, yeah, exactly. So I think that's, you're saying we allowed the university to take it over and buy the old farmer's market. So yeah, again, a lot of, just feeling like, things were done that were just didn't make any sense. Just can't have a farmer's market or a flea market in a city of 170 some thousand people, Northern Ontario, with a lot of farms around. It's just a place waiting to happen. It's a place waiting for these ideas to take place. Now, here's something interesting. I've always thought, when you get your Amazon orders and they're sitting on your step and you're like, I wonder if someone could go out and steal those, if I don't get to them right away. Well, apparently, there's a sentencing of a local woman that did just that. It's been delayed, but she's been charged with theft of Amazon orders in Sudbury, and you can read about that. That's the Sudbury.com did an article on that. So, I've always wondered with my packages, and so I'm glad that so far so good. I haven't had any packages that I know of that have been stolen. So here you go. There was a standoff in Onaping, of all places, and a man was arrested and charged after a weapons complaint, Glenview Avenue, around 7 p.m. September 5th. Officers were dispatched. Individuals had been involved in a verbal argument, and there was some firearms there. And just before 4 a.m. in the morning, yesterday morning, the man exited the residence and surrendered himself to police without incident. So the man was 47 years old. He was charged with dangerous weapon for a dangerous purpose and careless use of a firearm under the Criminal Code of Canada. And he was transported to the police headquarters and will be attending bail court. So, yeah, standoff out in Onaping. CBC reporting most colleagues and universities, most colleges and universities in the Northwest or Northeast to drop COVID-19 mandates. We did talk about that yesterday with Billy on the show. And I think Laurentian University still has a mask mandate in classroom if you're not able to social distance. But other than that, no vaccine mandates, no mask mandates, pretty much across the board. But they are mask-friendly environments. So if you choose and feel safer to do so, you are more than welcome to do that, and you should be. You should be more than welcome to do whatever it is that makes you feel safe. And that's what I kind of felt right from the beginning. And so I hope a lot of you, who have children and have gone back to school, or you've gone back to school yourself, you've had a really good, the transition is smooth and that everything went well and is going well. I know I have my youngest is still in high school, and she looked very much forward to school, not like her father back in the day. But anyways, she was very excited to go back to school. Now, we did talk about the BIA and the whole idea of RibFest, and I wanted to get to a news story done by CTV. They got to the bottom of this, and I was curious myself. So, yeah, I just want to check in with that. Then we'll be back right after this.
A big success over the holiday weekend, and the change of venue to the Bell Park area along Ramsey Lake seemed to be a wise choice. The Downtown Sudbury Business Improvement Association relinquished the event to a new promoter this year, and the BIA says it's a big supporter of RibFest, but now it prefers to focus on other priorities it has. Joining me now to talk about some of those priorities is the Managing Director of Downtown Sudbury's BIA, Kyle Marcus. Thanks for joining us tonight, Kyle.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Quickly, why the departure from RibFest? I gather it was costing the BIA money to stage it, and there really wasn't the return on investment that you would have liked.
Well, that's it exactly. There's a lot of capacity restraints for a festival of that size, and there's a movement going through BIAs right now where, we're all kind of moving away from these large-scale events and trying to facilitate, empower, and sponsor those whose job it actually is to throw these big events. And by doing so, we can use our funds to invest on a more regular basis through the community to see, a better return on our investment, whether it's, community money or, in-kind contributions, our marketing capacity, those sort of things. So we try to work hard for our members and make sure that everything we do is absolutely in their best interest.
I am seeing the evolution that you're talking about, getting away from Christmas parades and that sort of thing, and telling other people to put those on. What about looking forward? Some of the new things that you're focusing on, the zero vacancy program where you offer extremely discounted rents on downtown retail spaces. Is this working?
Absolutely. Zero vacancy is probably our shining star of the year. It's a program we started just about a year ago, last November. And we took over 5 spaces in the downtown core, and we actually work with the landlords themselves. So we have to give kudos to our property owners for allowing us, to operate the program. We essentially went to them and asked them what their carrying costs for a month was. We added a bit of money to that for kind of usage of utilities, and then thought that we could move in non-traditional renters, makers, vendors, artists, those sort of things to try to stimulate foot traffic. It's been extremely successful. We have our landlords or property owners looking at it as a marketing expense, making both the units beside and within the program more saleable, more rentable, and more marketable to potential renters.
Kyle, let me just interrupt you there because I want to talk about a couple of the other things, and we only have about a minute left. Some of the other things that you list as success is the farmers market. You say they found them a home, working on an indoor site so they can be year-round. We saw footage of patios there, that patio rebate program where you help people to install patios and that sort of thing. The happy hour downtown. Are all these things working? Are people coming back downtown? Homeless and addiction situation, is it still a huge deterrent? Tell me if you feel you're making progress.
I think we're making great progress. Through the patio program, we've incentivized a rebate of up to $220,000 into members' pockets so they can make it beautiful, accessible. All our other programs, our cleanup program has actually brought our vulnerable populations into our community as opposed to kind of push them away. And what's been really neat to see is as we see an increase in visitors and our businesses get back on our feet, that playing field between our vulnerable populations and our businesses gets smaller. And what we've seen is an increased level of compassion, an increased level of advocacy, and an increase in pride in our community.
All right, well, continued good luck and congratulations on the success you've seen with these projects. We'll be looking for what happens in the fall and winter. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Business.
And welcome back. Yes, and my mic is a lot louder now, and I know Billy will be really excited. So I did a little bit of, sorry, the video itself was not that loud at first. Just had to do a little bit of jigging around. But yeah, as you can see, comments galore today. Thanks for being with us and commenting. They do have something in mind for a building for farmers market, so that looks great. Possibly a flea market as well, where people can come downtown and, if you make something, if you have a craft, if you have something to sell, that you'd be able to do that. So yeah, I do agree with that, Lise. It is going to be awesome. So even though we may sound like we're criticizing things of the city and what they're doing or whatever, people are, they're working behind the scenes, and it just seems like, a lot of things haven't been done, but you want to feel hopeful about the future. Some really great comments. I just encourage you all to read all the comments that a lot of you have made, and continue to do that, and continue to like and share the Sudbury News itself, because getting the conversation out, and as we work out a lot of the wrinkles with the production and things like that, it'll be a little bit more streamlined. We'll be able to get your comments more up on the screen. And as we have more people involved, it'll be able to be a more robust production. And so thanks for being with us today, everyone. It was a really great conversation. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. And so have a really great hump day today. It's Wednesday. So we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow, and on on CKLU. I'm looking at an Eastlink advertisement right now on my computer on CKLU. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily. And we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Have a great one. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.